Uh-oh, we got the wheel pulled off the 2023 Tundra, so what broke this time? I'm going to show you guys, fill you in, give you another update on this 55,000 mile Tundra. I think this is our highest mileage new generation Tundra in the fleet. So I'm going to give you guys yet another update on these things. I know everybody's curious if they're all blowing up, if we're having problems, or if we still like these trucks. So I'm going to tell you guys all about it right after a word of scripture. Today I've got Matthew 16:24, where Jesus says to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me." So just a reminder that I think is often overlooked in, especially in Western Christianity today, that following Jesus does require a sacrifice. It does require changing your ways, typically, because Jesus calls us to do hard things and calls us to follow him and live a life like the life that he lived, which oftentimes is in opposition to what we want, what our flesh and our sinful desire inside us wants. So not to discourage you guys, I hope it's an encouragement to know that following Jesus, although it requires a sacrifice, is the best thing you could do. It leads to forgiveness of sins, peace, and fellowship with God, and eventually eternal life as well. So thanks for listening, guys. Now I'm going to jump right into the 23 Tundra. Like I said, if you haven't watched the videos in the past, we've got a fleet of these things. Well, we've got a fleet of Tundras out here and just been switching to the new generation. Actually, these are all... these are all still 5.7. That one's a little bit newer, but these are all still 5.7 Tundras here today, except for this one. This is kind of a manager's truck, and he was complaining of some brake squeaks. So I thought I'd show you guys. This one is, in fact, a 23, built in late 22, and I'll just show you guys. It does have 55,000 miles on it. So like I said, I think this is our highest mile one yet, and since the beginning I've just been showing you guys our experience with these new twin turbo engines, this new generation of Tundra. These guys work these trucks pretty hard. I mean, you can see it's a 23 with 55,000 on it, so no doubt they're running these trucks. I've been doing all the maintenance on them, which so far has just included oil changes and general look over, checking fluids, tires, stuff like that, as well as air filters. So just regular maintenance so far, and we have not had any failures, really any problems at all to speak of with these new Tundras, but I'm going to keep you guys posted. So this one, the driver complained of some brake squeaks, wanted me to check the brakes, and I thought at 55,000, we ought to go ahead and check the front brake pads. We're actually going to check all four, but of course the front will wear out quicker, but I was pretty surprised to see. I pulled this front left off, and hopefully I could get you guys in where you could see there is still a ton of pad life. Yeah, there you go. So if you're looking next to the rotor, right in here, you could see the pad thickness. No uneven wear. And while I'm in here, if you guys haven't had Toyota trucks in the past, I absolutely love this open caliper design because I could change pads on these without taking any part of the caliper off, caliper bracket, none of that. Obviously you do when you get into changing rotors, but yeah, these open backs are awesome. You could just, there's a little clip that holds the end of these pins in, and then you just slide those pins out and pull your brake pads out with kind of a quick change caliper design. They've been running these on Toyotas for quite a while. My 2004 Tacoma has that set up, and it's just, boy, it's awesome. Makes it a breeze for changing pads. But does not look like we have to do that yet. Still plenty of pad life there. In fact, more, like I said, more than I would have thought at 55,000 miles. So the squeaks are probably, I could hear it. It's just when you first get on the brake. It's not a continuous squeak like as the rotor rotates. So usually that's just the slide pins or the hardware on the pads when you first get on the brakes. When that pad moves, creates a little squeak. So I'm going to go through clean and clean and lube. I really don't like to grease my brake hardware. I know that's debatable, but to me the grease works at first, and then dirt and brake dust and all that just clings to it. So I just like to get these shiny clean. I'll clean them up with a wire brush and some brake clean, and that should get rid of the little squeak. Not time to actually be changing brake parts yet, so I'll let the driver know. And did notice a little bit low on fluid here. These ones do take .4, like most newer trucks, newer vehicles. Let's see, where's it at? Yeah, right here, .4. Oh, .3 or .4, which those are interchangeable. They are reverse compatible. So, well, I should say they are reverse compatible. .4 will always work in a vehicle, older vehicle that called for .3, but check, not always will .3 go forward, have forward compatibility to a newer .4 vehicle, if that makes sense. Check your vehicle, especially the new Ford pickups. I changed some brake lines on one this past week, and they call for a special low viscosity fluid, so it's a .4 LV. So just check yours, brake fluid. You don't want to mix that. Definitely don't want to mix that or put the wrong fluid in. So that's my disclaimer. Check for yourself. But in this case, we're going to pop some .4 in here just to fill that right up to the max line. It's just down a tiny bit. I don't see any leaks or anything. It's probably just where it was filled from the factory. But we'll go through, check all the fluids on this, top off the brake fluid, clean the brake hardware, and then she'll be good to go. In fact, I should also check, now that I'm looking at it, the truck's pretty level. I should check these coolant levels. And here's one thing to note if you own one of these trucks or just curious about them. There are two coolant reservoirs, one for the intercooler. These have a water-to-air intercooler for the turbochargers, and then it also has a separate reservoir for engine coolant. So you can see they're nicely labeled there. They take the same pink, Asian pink Toyota coolant, so that one's right at the full mark. And this one, a little low, eh? Oh, there's your marks there, actually down here. So low, full, cold? Cold? Oh yeah, cold marks, low and full. Okay. And then this upper line might be your hot, full mark. But anywho, we'll go through since we got it in the shop. We'll check all the fluids on this sucker and get everything topped off. Clean the brakes, like I said, and we'll send it back out there because we have not had any issues with these trucks. Okay, I shouldn't say any issues. We haven't had any major engine failure, catastrophic engine failures like some of these have, and I'm really curious. I want to see some more of the data out there, if it's just the early 22s, kind of the first production run of these trucks, because we have some later 22s. You saw this one was manufactured in 10 of 22, and we just haven't had any failures yet, and we've got pretty high miles compared to a lot of the Tundras out there. Like I said, 55K on this one. So I don't know. I don't know if it's all of them. I don't know if my Mobil 1 synthetic oil changes, keeping up on them has helped. I mean, here's the thing. They're saying some production material was left in some of these twin turbo engines when they were produced. So if that's the case, I don't know. Maybe more oil changes and flushing them out and changing the filters often has collected that. But I feel like if you've got metal left in an engine at production, it's only a matter of time where it's going to work its way into the wrong places, eat up some bearings, and you'll have an engine failure. But like I said, we have not experienced that yet, so we're just going to keep running these things. I'll keep you guys posted every step of the way, and really no other complaints. Oh, I will say a couple of these trucks, not this one, but the other two new generation we have, when I'm down there changing the oil, I did notice a little seepage out of the rear main seal, which I thought was something to note for trucks these new, to already see a little bit of oil residue coming out between the engine and the transmission. Likely the rear main seal is, I wouldn't even say leaking, but it's weeping already. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye on. This one is dry down there. Don't see any evidence of that, so nothing to show you guys there. But that's the only issue we've had with these things. Again, like I said, nothing catastrophic, and the guys really like driving them. I mean, they're smooth, they're comfortable, they're quiet, they've got a ton of power, and they're not great on gas, I will say. I mentioned some of my other videos, compared them to the V8 Tundras, and you know, that was the whole idea behind going to a twin turbo versus these old V8s, was you have plenty of power, but you're not sucking as much gas, especially when you stay out of the boost. But that really hasn't been our experience. I showed it in the last video comparing the two, but why don't we pull it up again and see what this driver's been getting. And you know, these guys are loaded down with roofing material and such, but maybe maybe you could get some better fuel mileage out of yours, but let's see, how do we get to, yeah, distance to empty. Yeah, so 15.6 is what they're averaging on this truck. Not very good. So there you have it, 15.6 average. So not great fuel economy, but again, they like the trucks, they like the ride. Interior is pretty cool on these. I'm not a huge fan of push button stuff. I do not like the transfer case. I mean, got to push and slide this delicate little thing to use four-wheel drive, which we use a lot in the mountains. And then I do not like electric parking brakes either. I've had them freeze up and get stuck on in the cold here. And then this one, I bet you could turn that feature off, but it does automatically set the parking brake every time you put the transmission in park. Makes it a pain to change rear brake pads, and I just don't like it. It's another electronic motor when a cable works just fine, I think. So, you know, that's the case with all newer vehicles. They've got all these gadgets, but from a driver's standpoint, they're really comfortable, they're fast, and they've been working just fine for us. So, hope this information is helpful. We're at 55K and moving forward, so I'm going to keep giving you guys updates on these trucks, the good, the bad, the ugly, and if you're interested in that and want to see what happens, please subscribe. And please remember that following Jesus does require a sacrifice. It requires denying yourself and the things your own flesh and sinful desires want, but it's absolutely worth it. It's the best feeling of joy and peace I've ever experienced for this life and the life to come. So hope that helps you guys. Thank you for watching. Like I said, please subscribe if you like the videos and want to see some more Tundra and general automotive content coming. And I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.